Good morning, everyone.
Oh,
Pretty home.
uh,
Okay.
oh,
Here, sir. Oh, give me a second here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but give me a second. Mother flippers here. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Ah, freaking beautiful. Beautiful. We're back, people. We're back.
we're back. Go back.
All right. How's everybody doing? Doing all right?
Doing good, doing good.
Okay. Good. Should we kick off the craziest show on earth?
Yep, thanks. So
Yeah, let's kick it off.
we started off the greatest show, man. Take my name.
Yeah, let's talk about overnight. We did have some movement overnight. We rejected 75.85 in the overnight session and retraced a lot of the rally from yesterday back into yesterday's range. Uh, traded as low as 75.35 in pre-market. There's some support right here at 75.40 to 45, which is trying to hold and turn back higher. So the main thing is we continue to fail to see continuation out of this balance, and we retraced back into range in the overnight. So just in the middle of yesterday's range. The way I would look at today is that as long as we're above 75.25, which is the biggest gamma positioning on the tape. It's big support, and it's basically the prior day low. So as long as you're above the prior day low, the upside is still in play. If we see 75.25, it's a good area to look for longs, especially if we sweep the prior day low and hold 25. It's a very uh, good setup for a long, and the downside doesn't really come into play until that fails. So I would continue to look to the upside as long as we're above 75.25. And then right here early in the session, we're trading right at 75.50 at the moment. Early in the session, if you can clear 75.55, then you can try to push back towards yesterday's highs, 75.70 and then 75.85 again. So we're inside the same range we've been in. We're inside yesterday's candle, but we do have a lot of support at 75.25 and possibly an early move above 75.55. That's how I would look at it. I'm in a long from the pre-market. Uh, a new entry, you could try to be long above 75.55 early in the session. The best thing would be 75.25 if we can see it today.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning. Yes, I do think that S&P could be, excuse me, a pretty good setup into the end of the week or even possibly next week's. So just one's, looking out a little bit. That 75.80 has been tested so many times. I do think, as I mentioned on the call yesterday, the end of day recap, That breakout's been super defined now, especially if we happen to catch a catalyst. That's a trade that I think we all need to be ready for. Doesn't have to be 0 DTE unless we, if we do get a catalyst, that could obviously work nicely. But this is a pretty straightforward breakout if we keep holding, as Jim Money mentioned. I would set alerts around 75.25, and that would kind of kill the setup. With that being said, we are gapping down, and SNDK is going to be my top focus today. So we had TSM earnings. There's a couple things going on here. Zooming out for a minute. SNDK had a pretty big down day. It was down over 200 points yesterday. And we've chopped this 1500 area numerous times. And things are starting to change a little bit in terms of character. A little bit of a narrative is starting to build. So from a higher time frame perspective, SNDK is, below the 50-day, big rejection at the 50-day yesterday. Has tested that 1500 multiple times, as I mentioned, bounced into the close, but then we're just gapping straight back down into 1500. So that's weakness. I think we're positioning here, if it doesn't reclaim the 50 days soon, to test the 1200s to 1300s next, near where the 100 SMA is. So that's big picture. On the lower time frame, what I'm looking at is a couple things, but basically all the variables are stacking for this trade, which is why I'm treating it as an A setup going into today. So a market gap down, obviously you're still in a chop zone, so you have to take that a little bit with a grain of salt unless 75.25 fails, but it is a gap down nonetheless. The market's not, gapping up. TSM gapping down on a good report for what it's worth. We saw the IBM headlines and earnings earlier in the week, and then now TSM, good report and gapping lower. I think there's a bit of a narrative starting to build up in terms of the spend and cost of the AI revolution, if you want to call it that, and not being as a big enough material impact on earnings. That's something that could be developing. I wouldn't say that with a ton of confidence just yet, but it's a variable here. And so as you can kind of see, I'm kind of stacking some things um, in terms of my conviction in this SNDK short. Barbell is elevated, pre-market structure is trending with bearish RSI. So it's about as textbook as it gets, and this is a good example of a trade that you just have to take. And our job is to just take what's in front of us. So if it traps this 1478, 1500 again, you could look long, but I would rather just wait for the 50-day to recover. I think that this is straight up a breakdown trade under 1478. So I'm going to treat it as such. I'll be looking to trade the opening drive on a first move down if we get it. First move up, I'm just going to sit on hands and wait. And yeah, I'm looking at 1400 puts and 1350 puts. That's going to be my main focus for the session.
All right, thank you. Okay, so a few things. SPX. I do like the below yesterday's lows, maybe recover and go for failed breakdown. Also, just added the 75.80. Once we break that, I'm targeting all-time high, so we're pretty far off. But just adding it to the watch list for people. But I like that 25 also. We had a really nice long off of that 25 yesterday. Meta. Meta's showing relative strength. I think the whole Max 7 group, most of the names are doing really well. So we're continuing to see strength there in some of those individual names. Meta is one of those, led the move higher yesterday, actually tested that 683 level, broke through it, and then reversed. So I'm watching yesterday's highs, 683, 685 area for a break towards that 692. If we break that, I think 700 could come. So Meta, I think, could be a good kind of dip buy candidate too. If it does pull back, watch for that turn as well. Just kind of an intraday tactical trade. Next would be Microsoft. Really nice relative strength here. Tested that 400 area yesterday and pulled back. But 400 is going to be interesting. I would warn that the 402 area, so just above 400, is the 50-day moving average. So there's some resistance there, but you might see some nice momentum through 400 that you can maybe trade. Just know that there might be some resistance around that 402 area. 410, 409 would be target above. Uh, Google, Google remains or continues to be very relatively strong, and for me, this looks very much like the Amazon setup. What was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday where we have this very defined level on Amazon. It was 250, and for Google is this like 373, 375 area. So really nice kind of we've had multiple attempts of breaking and failed. And so very similar to Amazon. And if you switch to Amazon, you can see what I mean. Amazon actually tested that to 50 multiple times. And then yesterday we saw this bigger move through the that 250. So we had a huge expansionary candle. We're holding up there too. So Google, I really like that 373, 375. Just because I was talking about Amazon, watch that continuation. So you get a breakout like we did yesterday above that 250. You want to see day two move. So that'd be a break of yesterday's highs on Amazon. Snow be next. Snow is looking good. It's an inside day. It's not a 111 candle in the daily, but close to it. But I would watch that 280. If that breaks, I think we could see a nice little push higher. Not much more to say about that. Um, what my biggest kind of winner yesterday was Apple in terms of identifying the individual name that was in play and kind of trading it multiple strikes. Uh, so day two play here on this one. Yesterday's ATR was 330 and change, expecting that to maybe get tested, and then we'll see. That 330 will likely be some resistance. Uh, this one has been relatively strong. It's finally breaking higher here after multiple days of consolidation. So I would watch this day too. Uh, GS 1155. GS have is starting to what we call like one-time framing to the upside. Now that we are kind of breaking higher here, you just keep watching previous day high and for that continued move to the upside. Really nice kind of hammer bar yesterday on the daily after a nice little pullback. Came back and closed near the high. So we're gapping down just slightly, but watch the red to green on this one. It's not on the watch list, but JPM, one to watch as well. Uh, it did break above. We were watching 345 yesterday and had a real nice move, but then we kind of faded throughout the day and it's kind of weak. But I would discount this one. I would watch this one as well as GS. A couple of downside candidates for me. First one would be Tesla. For me, this is a very defined area. I think one of the better, I guess, good-looking downside candidates if the market starts pulling back. Tesla's just remained a sell to pop. If you see a little bit of a front side, maybe to 394, 395, if it tests that red to green, could be a nice little kind of front run. 390, once that buyer kind of steps aside, I think we see a bigger move on that one. So I'll be watching that one today. And AMD, watching yesterday's lows, pretty ugly kind of reversal yesterday. And I'll be watching a move towards that 497, 495. So I think we could test 500 in a wider range. So just be cautious of that. That is all we got. And Sarang, you're up.
Good morning, everybody. Um, I think I'm watching a couple of names. I think Tesla you already covered, so I'm also watching 388 to 390 area to break for a downside trigger. And from the catalyst trade perspective, UNH also reported the earning. So I would like to watch some intraday pattern on UNH. So we are gapping almost 6% on the strong earning numbers are good. So what I'm hoping is So the 438 area must hold. So any dip around 438 to 440 area, we'll be watching for the reversal or maybe break of 450. So I'll be targeting 460 to 465 on UNH specifically. Uh, Next one, TSM. TSM actually is capping down on a strong earning. The numbers were looking good, but I think there is a weakness in semiconductor, so the profit taking might be the issue. So I'm watching two trades here. So for example, the first trade could be the front side rejection of 405 to 407 area. So if we see a rejection there, so we'll be looking to short, targeting 398 to 400 and potentially 393 and 388 below. But if let's say for upside specifically, what I want is it should hold on the dips and reclaim this 407 area, or maybe some kind of a basing around this 407. Then we'll be looking to trade for upside on TSM. And lastly, the Goldman Sachs, I think I was watching yesterday also, couldn't find an good entry on it. So for the Goldman Sachs, I will watch intraday pattern on it. So generally moves in the second half nicely. The first half, the premiums won't be that great. So I'll be watching uh, in the second half.
Cool.
So
Thank you, sir.
those are the names. So, yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Okay. I'm moving on here to some names that you guys are calling out in the chat room. Question about SLV, silver. Well, I would watch yesterday's lows. If it's unable to recover, that could be a nice little short. Otherwise, this 50, I mean, psych level 50, might need a catalyst to actually break that 50, but yeah, big weakness in silver. It's down from 110. Give me 1 second, Matei. Can you take over for a second? I'm going to do something. Sorry.
Sure. Let me pull up the chat real quick. I was affected. All right, what are we looking at? Where did he start?
Matei, I'll take
Yeah.
over.
You
Sorry,
back?
my daughter came.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I just
All
had
right.
to
All right.
answer my daughter.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways.
Now. NOW software. What do I think about it? It's just kind of in a range. It's hard to trade for me. Mateo's eating bamboo. Sorry, disturbing this morning. Let's see, AMD. We talked about AMD, so I don't have to cover that again. Zeta, Theta. Theta hasn't done anything since September of last year. So I'm not going to be the one to call the breakout or breakdown. No, it's in the middle of the range. It's a harder play. Attempted to fail 23. Have a look above and fail. So you might see a little bit of a pullback here for a break yesterday's lows. SpaceX, yeah, real nice dip yesterday to 132. Backup of 134 as 135. 135 is the IPO price. As y'all remember, we actually opened up above that. So if there's one area for this to hold, it would be here. If not, we could see push lower. AEHR, this is requested. AEHR, yeah, pretty ugly reversal yesterday. So I would watch that yesterday's lows. He says pivot. If we recover yesterday's lows, could be a little bit of a failed breakdown. So you anticipate a bit of a push higher. Yesterday was a little more like sell the news event. If it rejects yesterday's lows, you do have the gap below to fill. So more of a kind of tactical play here to watch, but recover of yesterday's lows around 86 could be something upside at least. PayPal. So PayPal, there was news yesterday, right? Buyout. bid by Stripe and the Advent. Sorry. So I don't have much info about the offer other than it's 60.50. Um, I would watch yesterday's. I would watch 56 or so as a pivot. I do think these are always harder, unless you're in it and you catch that pop. For me, hands off PayPal, but watch yesterday's highs. But I think this one could be a little trickier. There are easier trades out there. Dell, just an ugly candle, kind of traversed the entire range it's been in. We're back to where we gapped up after last earnings. But a short Dell, although it's kind of weak. I think, if anything, it could be a nice little kind of dip opportunity here. Bigger picture. Uh, as long as we're holding this like 390, 400 zone. 5 minutes to go. Okta, that's a bit of a 111. To the upside, not perfect, but close. I would say this 150 to like 180. The two times we've pushed through this zone here, it's been quick, both to the upside and downside. So when we broke out, we kind of just broke through this 150, 180 like very quickly. The same on the downside. So let's see what they do with it here. Okta. Interesting. Yeah, software saw a little bit of a reversal yesterday. So today's going to be like, they either push it back or they reverse. They continue this reversal. And SMH is pretty weak here on TSM numbers. But if TSM starts, let's say it goes red to green, just watch semiconductors. Nvidia is looking pretty good this morning, off the lows nicely. So yeah, Nvidia is a little sneaky, but above 212 could be something to watch. So yeah, Nvidia, really nice kind of move here off that 208 in the PM hours, likely pushing higher. Let me take a look at TSM here. TSM is down 3%. We do have the offside play to watch. Yesterday's lows recovery could be something TSM. But I think more importantly, watch TSM and what it does, and then watch if some of that money rotates into other parts of semiconductors, NVIDIA, AMD, AFCO, so on. My preference upside would be NVIDIA. I think that one's looking best for a push higher. I think that concludes the segment where we look at individual names. I'm getting my stuff in order here before the open, guys, so I'll go quiet for a second here. Apple is acting like it wants to pop to that 330. You might see some momentum, but that 330, I think it's going to be tricky. But if it does break 330, 333 would be the bigger persistence level above. Microsoft right below 400. AMD really weak here. All right, we have less than a minute to go.
Let's move up here. Setting up on SNDK, getting pretty bearish on the bounce.
Mm.
See what happens. Get open.
GC Premium, 6 DK.
Yeah, I mean, this is a front side. Consider I would just go a little bit smaller on the first entry.
Guys, 390 very quickly. A bit of an open drive here. Let's see if it breaks 380. Amazon, PM highs. UNH higher. Trying to break PM high. SPX lower here. UNH extremely strong here. It's very